Abba has had a plan. He has blessed you with an opportunity to be a part of that plan. And in this opening sort of prayer and blessing and whatever, that you want to call what Paul's doing here, what Shaul is doing here, he is going through the process of also kind of explaining to you a little bit about that plan. Because remember, he started off that these are the set apart ones, so you should understand that you are a part of a plan. If we are to believe that this once saved, always saved, or predestination, or whatever it is that you want to look at, or that somehow when you've received the sealing of the set-apart spirit, there's really nothing for you to do, well, then why is he telling you that you need to have eyes of understanding and that your being be enlightened so that you know what is expected? I don't know that you were taught that in Sunday church, that there was anything that he expected in terms of specifics and details. Well, he expects you to love him. Okay, how? Anybody get the how taught to them? He expects you to love your neighbor. Okay, how? He does not expect you to be perfect. He expects you to make the effort to be perfect. He expects you to want to be perfect. He expects you to be disappointed when you're not perfect so that you'll stop, repent, make teshuvah, and then go back to trying to be perfect. You see, but a lot of you have heard people tell you that he expects you to be perfect. He doesn't expect you to be perfect. He knows, okay, he's much smarter than we are, and he knows that you're going to mess up. He knows how hard it is to live in this world with Hasatan and all the other things going on in this world. But he expects you to try. Not just try a little bit. He uses words like utmost, with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your being. He expects you to put everything into this. When you see that word, knowledge of him, in that kind of a phraseology, it implies a whole lot more deep intimacy. It's not just that you know who he is or you know about him, but that you know him. Have you ever said to anybody who thought something of you that was wrong or whatever, said, I thought you knew me? I said, if you knew me, you would never think I would do that. I thought you knew me better than that. Or you may say to somebody, I thought I knew you. Because they do something that you then look at them like, I can't believe you did that. I thought I knew you better than that. It's not informational. It's relational. Because it's way beyond and more than just information. And he says, I want you to have a spirit of wisdom and revelation, which means that it be revealed to you, these things, through relationship with him. But do you understand that what you do affects whether or not you're in even relationship with him? And it's hard to tell you that being in charge of you is dumb. Because after all, I know me better than anybody. Well, no, you don't. He knows you better than that. But still, I should be in charge of me. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know what I can do and what I can't do. So why shouldn't I be in charge of me? And he says, well, we have other things we've taught you as far as having your being enlightened and the eyes of your understanding enlightened. We've told you, this is Abba, I'm speaking for him for a second, just metaphorically here, not literally. He says, I've taught you that it's not in man to even know where to put his feet. I've taught you that the way that seems right to a man leads to death. So, yes, trying to be in charge of you and rule you is kind of dumb. Made us alive together through Messiah. By merited favor, you've been saved. Because he called to you and you merited favor by responding. And you responded by saying, Abba, I trust you. I'm going to step out in faith, in belief, in trust. And I'm going to see that I want you to see that I trust that this will work. You deserved nothing. You had earned nothing. You had merited nothing. And he called you in that state. We don't call that grace. The church does. That's really unmerited favor, which is compassion and mercy. That's stuff we give those that really don't deserve anything. But because we believe in them, because we know there's a potential there, we offer them that opportunity. They haven't shown anything necessarily, but he knows us on a deeper level. He knows what you can and will do if given the opportunity. And so he gives it to you. See, it all begins with you first trusting. That's a heart issue. I don't know if I can trust you. We got a heart problem. Or I trust you implicitly. That comes out of your heart. See, part of the covenanting of marriage has to do with two people saying, I trust you with me, everything that is me. And I want you to trust you with me that you can give that to us so you know I will be there for you. So can you give yourself fully to me? By the way, I'm facing my wife saying all this. So if you're wondering, why is he looking that way? Okay, but that's that whole thing. Can you trust me and can I trust you with each other? That's a pretty deep covenant. We talk about the covenant being like the marriage covenant. We're looking forward to the renewing of the covenant at what we call the wedding feast. Now, by the way, if you were not saved or delivered that free gift, if that had never happened, you would not then be free to choose to walk in them. And what? Walk in what? The covenant. Doing what he said. That's what you're now free to walk in. Because until then, you are over here in the spirit of disobedience that's now working in the sons of that spirit, that self-sovereignty. We're back in verse 2. You were there. He's contrasting these things. But while you were there, you know what he did? He delivered you out of all that fleshly mess so that you could choose to covenant, which is obedience. And it's not just any kind of obedience. It's trusting obedience. He goes, then there's a little thing in hyphens here, whatever, they say, the Torah of the commands and dogma. He abolished in the flesh the enmity, the Torah of the commands of dogma, so as to create in himself one renewed man from the two, thus making peace. You know, that little piece about the Torah of the commands, look, in there, we can get all kinds of things. We can say he abolished in the flesh the enmity. Well, you know what? The Torah of commands said that when you're in the flesh and you're not in the Torah, there's an enmity situation. He said, but if you come through me, we can reconcile that and make it peace. That's not picking on the Torah. And he also could be talking about the fact that there was this whole thing in the society at that time, this animosity, this enmity between the Jewish community and everybody else. You can't come in here. You know, there was a huge battle in the early body of Messiah between those of Jewish disposition and those of the Gentile. A whole fight about who can come in and how they can come in and whether they should come in. Because after all, you guys are out there. We're in here. We're covenanted. But that's why Paul has to keep saying, but just because you were circumcised doesn't mean that it guarantees anything. He says, having come, he brought us the good news of peace to you who are far off and peace to those near. By the way, this is also talking to the scattered Israelites, saying, you were punished. You were out there. The phrase of far off is often referring to the dispersion. He says, but that enmity that was there, that goes back to when the prophecies where you're going to be scattered, he says, he's destroyed that enmity. He's made now the possibility to begin the regathering. He says, you were called and created in Messiah, this new thing, onto good works, so that you should then now go and walk in them. Now compare that to the previous thing, the lust of the flesh, doing the desires of the flesh and of the mind, we're children of wrath. See the contrast here? It's not contrasting Torah versus now free to do what you want and feel like the Spirit just leads you. He's saying that's already what you were doing, and it led into nothing. Suffering, pain, lack of peace. He's saying, but you know what? He's taken this thing that's going on, this animosity against the right way of doing things, which, by the way, is being fomented still by the church, to have an animosity against what we're supposed to be doing. And Yeshua is supposed to have died to put that to rest, not to cause it to happen. Can we start to see that?